Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. And Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. Max wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws, plays a forest, and casts Birds of Paradise. Mathieu has a command tower for turn, and passes after that. Arja plays an island, and taps it for 1 blue to cast Spyglass Siren, making a map token as it comes in. My turn has a tap Myriad Landscape coming in, and I pass after that. Max draws, plays a Plains, and taps 3 for Hurska, casting his commander on turn 2. Mathieu's got a forest, and pays 2 for a Nature's Lore. He goes to find a Ketria Triome, which comes in tapped, and passes. Arja's got a swamp, and he brings out one of his commanders with Francisco, going to combat after it resolves. Arja then pokes Max for 1 with a Spyglass Siren, and gets to explore, binning a likeness looter to his graveyard with Francisco, and putting a +1/+1 counter onto his commander as well. With nothing else, he passes. My exciting turn for a blue player has me drawing, playing an island, and passing after that. Max draws, and plays a Cat Collector, and makes a food token. He goes to combat, and hits Arja for 3 with his commander, which makes him another food token. Max then plays a tap Path of Ancestry in his second main phase, and passes after that. Mathieu plays a Thornspire Verge for his land, and he casts a Soul Ring. He then taps 2 for a Swiftfoot Boots, and passes once they resolve. Arja's turn has him playing a Swamp, and casting his other commander with Malcolm. Going to combat, he hits me with the Spyglass Siren, and Mathieu with Francisco. Matt responds before damage though, casting Heaven to wipe away all the flyers, and with his attack blown out completely, Arja passes. I draw, play an island, and then pay 2 to sacrifice Myriad Landscape. I go to find 2 basics, and pass while searching. Max's turn has an Urza Saga, and he then casts Jaheira. Once she resolves, he hits me with Hurska, and Mathieu with the Cat Collector. We both take our hits, with Max making a food token. In his post-combat main phase, Max mutates Sawtusk Demolisher onto Hurska, and as he does so, destroys the Swiftfoot Boots. After that, Max passes. Mathieu draws and plays an Invigorating Hot Springs, which comes in with 4 counters. He follows it up by casting Cami of Whispered Hopes, and once it's out, activates the Invigorated Hot Springs to move a +1/+1 counter onto the Cami, which is doubled to 2. He then passes to Arja after that. Arja's turn has him playing an Emphalia Drownyard for turn, and he then casts Ramirez de Pietro, Pillager, and once the pirate resolves, passes. I've got an island for turn, and I cast a Patchwork Banner, naming Nightmare. I then have enough mana to cast the Mindskinner, and I pass to Max. Max draws and upticks Urza's Saga, and he then plays a Windburst Heights in his main phase, hiding away a card as it comes in tapped. He casts Sierra, Nuka's biggest fan, and he goes to combat. Max sends Jaheira at me, the Cat Collector at Arja, and his commander at Mathieu. None of us block, with Max making a food token off Hurska, and putting 3 counters onto Sierra, which in turn makes 3 more food tokens. With nothing else, Max passes. Mathieu draws for turn, and in his main phase, removes a counter from the Hot Springs to put another 2 onto the Cami, and then follows up by casting me. Once his commander's out, Mathieu follows up by tapping the Cami to help cast a Collodion Hydra. But Arja responds by casting Remand, and bouncing it back to Mathieu's hand, while Arja gets to draw a card. Going to combat, Mathieu then gets to put 2 +1/+1 counters onto me with her own ability, and he passes to Arja after that. Arja draws, plays a Swamp, and he casts Talisman of Dominance. He follows up by recasting Francisco, and he goes to combat. He swings Ramirez at me for 4, and I take the hit, while Arja gets to exile my top card. Arja also gets to explore thanks to Francisco, revealing a land, and then passing after that. I've got an island for turn, which shouldn't be a surprise since I'm playing mono blue, and I cast a Champion's Helm. I then move the helm onto the Mindskinner, and I go to combat. I swing my commander at the biggest threat, which is Max. He can't stop it, and the damage is prevented, with each opponent milling 13 cards. My second main phase then has me casting a Commander Sphere, and I pass, and during my end step, Max uses his Urza Saga to make a Construct token. Max draws for turn, and responding to the Urza Saga trigger, makes another Construct token before putting the final lore counter onto it and sacrificing it. This has him going into his library and putting a Soul Ring onto field. Max then moves to combat and sends a Construct token at Mathieu, Sierra, and the Cat Collector at Arja, and the rest go at me. Hurska makes a food token on attack, and Mathieu chumps with a beast, while Arja and I declare no blocks. Before damage, Max sacrifices a food token, gaining 3 life, and then pays the 1 to give Hurska its own trigger, and additionally gives it Sierra's trigger as well for an extra +6/+6. He then does this again, which is threatening lethal to me, so I float a mana off my Commander Sphere, and then sacrifice it to draw a card. I then cycle a Lonely Sandbar, drawing again, but can't find an answer. I then die, and Arja takes 6, and Max makes 2 more food tokens, and adds 2 more counters onto Sierra. In his post-combat main phase, Max then casts a Wormcoil Engine, and passes turn. Matt draws and plays a mountain, and then casts a Colonian Hydra again. He moves a counter from the Hot Springs onto me, and he goes to combat, and this triggers me, putting a First Strike counter onto her as well. For attacks, he swings the Hydra at Arja, and me goes at Max, and he gets to double the counters on his creatures, thanks to the Colonian Hydra attacking. Max chumps with a cat token, while Arja takes the hit. Mathieu then moves to a second main phase, and eternalizes a Timeless Witness, and brings back a Cauldron of Souls. Mathieu then continues his turn by casting Wonder, and he passes to Arja after that. Arja draws looking for a board wipe, but plays an island, and then casts Ashiok, Dream Render. He down-ticks him, milling himself, and exiling all of his opponent's graveyards. Arja then casts a Dire Fleet Hoarder, and he continues by sacrificing 3 creatures to flashback Dread Return, which brings back a Duskmangler. Max sacrifices the Wormcoil Engine, while Mathieu sacrifices Wonder, but not terribly thrilled with his turn, Arja just sadly passes to Max. Max draws and casts Sam, Loyal Attendant. Going to combat, he sends his commander at Matt, and the rest go at Arja. Before damage, Max sacrifices a bunch of food tokens to pump Hurska with its ability and Sierra's ability, and Matt and Arja chump. Unfortunately, they can't survive the onslaught, and Max is able to win the game through combat.
To not be out of the game. I was just trying to think of what it was. I was like, what is he going to save himself with 1 blue mana?
Yeah, I mean, Chain of Vapors.
Yeah, that works too.
There's some other Pongify, anything that would have killed his commander, basically.
Yeah.
Max, you won. What did you think? Ooh, that was a very good deck. I did exactly what I wanted. Got Hurska out on turn 2, made food. Nobody removed anything critical. I had my bare necessities.
Matt? It's hard to follow up that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it did pretty well. Unfortunately, the bear was too big. And the construct's too large for the amount of mana that I had for Earth.
For little old you?
For little me. Oh. Not quite as immortal as I thought.
No. You can like find the exact moment I lose the game. That heaven just like, you're right. You did the right thing.
Absolutely.
And that was it for me. I was gone. So Pirate fans, not today.
Yeah. Mindskinner, a bit slow. I mean, it took me till turn 4 to get him out, turn 5 to attack, which is just not enough, unfortunately. But hopefully there will be another good game with him. See you next time.
This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.